Welcome to the NFL Upset Picks for week number 12, presented by Pool Genius. My name is Spencer, and I'm here with Jason Lisk, the lead analyst over there at Pool Genius. And Jason, I guess we paid the bad beat tax last week. We went 0-3, despite going 5-1 the 2 weeks before that on our upset picks. Some of them were close. I can't really even begin to fathom how that Washington pick lost. I mean, both teams tried to lose that game.
Yeah.
The Dolphins and the Commanders, and then my pick, the Lions against the Eagles. So many things went wrong for the Lions in that game. How many failed fourth down conversions?
They got them all.
At least like 4 of them. But enough with last week. Let's look forward to this week. Let's get back on track. And I want to remind all of you that you can get these upset picks each and every week in our newsletter called NFL by the Numbers. I will pin that in the comment section down below. And we are going to run through Jason's favorite upset pick of the week, my favorite upset pick, and then one from our BetIQ model. So let's get to it. Jason, what is your favorite upset pick this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's all relative. I nothing is like screaming out at me, so I'm going to go with one that I do like. The line has moved because of injury news. Buffalo has gone up as a favorite. It's now sitting at around 6, so you can get this money line over 220. Houston at home against Buffalo. And I'll lay out kind of like, it's a longer shot, but I'll lay out kind of what I'm thinking. One, Houston's defense, number 1 in the league. I'm not sure Buffalo's played a defense like this. I look over who they've played, and they've mostly played teams that rank in the bottom tier of the league in defense. So even though Josh Allen's awesome and he's racking up, great stats again, he has been a little loose with the ball this year. We saw that in the Tampa game. Very questionable turnover where he basically two-hand chest pass. Should have thrown the bounce pass. He tried to throw it over the defense. And we teach our middle schoolers, you don't lob it with the two-hand. You really got to drive it. And so he kind of threw a two-handed interception, which he'll do at times. But he hasn't faced the pressure, I think, a team that can provide the pressure that Houston can. So that's one factor, is even though, yes, Stroud's out on Thursday night, it is a short week, and you do have that defense that will be an issue. Buffalo struggled against this defense last year. This was the game, I believe it was, Houston jumped out. It was the game Nico Collins got hurt, and so it turned into a bit of a defensive struggle, but Houston still won that game. Buffalo could not move the ball very well. And so I also wonder there. The other thing, when you look at Buffalo, lots of wide receiver issues. They basically healthy and active last year's one of the top receiving picks, Keon Coleman, for this game for disciplinary reasons or whatever, like something that happened, maybe missing meetings, I think. And so they inactivated him, and he hasn't been good anyway. I mean, he's struggled. I think there's questions on the receiving corps. If you look at what they did last week against Tampa, that game was close. The score is a bit deceptive in that Tampa had that lead late in the third. Buffalo hit big pass plays to the backs, James Cook and also Ty Johnson. I'll pull up see if I have the numbers here, what they did. Those two combined for 5 catches, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. So a big chunk of their yards and their scoring last week came from hitting those backs out of the backfield. This Houston team's pretty good at defending backs. Like, this is like Tampa Bay, that I kind of kicking myself. The week before I played the prop on receiving because Tampa Bay had allowed receiving yards to backs. It was like that was a magnitude way worse last week for Tampa, but they had been a team that had allowed. I think this Houston team is better at defending backs and better at stopping the run. And so I think they're better at neutralizing really the one offensive weapon that's healthy and working well for Buffalo, which is James Cook. Yes, Buffalo's the favorite, but I'm trying to explain reasons why I like the dog here. I think they match up well. They have a great defense, and this Buffalo team has been inconsistent. So if I'm looking for variance plays, this Buffalo team will lay some stinkers. They have laid it on the road at Atlanta. They've laid it on the road at Miami. And Allen has been a little loose with the ball. And so I just think like all those variance factors Yes, they have Davis Mills at quarterback, but this defense is why who they are. They haven't been blown out at all. They've been in every game this year, and I think they'll be in this one.
Yeah, and this is the Thursday night football matchup, so there is a chance that you're watching this, and this has already happened. But we still like it. I mean, there it is a high variance play, as Jason explained, and the other top defense, if I recall off the top of my head, that Buffalo faced this year, as far as top 10 rankings and overall defense, they lost to at home the New England Patriots. Now we can talk about the Patriots' schedule and how legit their defense is, but like
Yeah,
that's a solid defense that they
they're the
had
only
problems with.
team ranking ahead of Houston that they played on rush defense and like rush yards allowed. Like they're both top 3 in rush yards allowed this year. So definitely some similarities there, at least in how they stop the run.
Right. And now for my upset pick of the week, I'm going with one of the gross ones, Jason. Like I guess it's my turn. Usually the model goes for the grossest of the gross picks, but well, yours is pretty gross too, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess let us know in the comments section which of these upset picks is the grossest, but I am going with the Arizona Cardinals, and they are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars at home this week. And I like this for three reasons, basically. I think this is sort of a get right spot for Arizona. They were blown out the last couple games, especially last week, 41-22. They lost against the 49ers, but they actually outgained the 49ers and almost doubled them up on yardage. They had 3 turnovers. They had a punt return that almost went the distance that San Francisco punched in right after that, and a lot of penalties. But those are a lot of things that they can clean up, get back on track at home against the Jacksonville team. And just as I said, this is a buy low spot for Arizona. It's a sell high spot for Jacksonville. They came off a really good game against the Chargers, especially that defense. That defense just put its foot in the ground and didn't let the Chargers do anything, which was pretty much a surprise. We haven't seen that a ton out of them this year. So I don't think they've miraculously turned things around in 1 week. And this is all of a sudden a defense to be feared. I think they go on the road here and they have some problems. Variance takes hold for both teams, which is a good thing for the Cardinals, not necessarily a good thing for the Jaguars in this spot. And I think the Cardinals are live with Jacoby Brissett to lead them the way that he's been slinging the ball. So I'm taking the underdog Cardinals here at home as my upset pick of the week.
I like it. I mean, yeah, as you point out, like Arizona had 200 more yards than San Francisco last week. Crazy. One of those games that, and congratulations to Brissett. Just great story. I mean, a guy that's been a backup, bounced around, had to start when Andrew Luck was hurt. He gets called on occasionally. And now I think he's like in his early 30s, 32, 33. And I think getting a chance here, and he could stay on and start. Like he set the record for completions in a game. Now you got to be trailing to do that, but there's a lot of quarterbacks could never come close to what he did, trying to come back in that game, playing with a big deficit. And so, yeah, live offense. This is a fun team. It's not on him that this team hasn't won yet and has lost several in a row. He's actually played better. So I like that pick because I do think Jacksonville is they're kind of one of those teams, I don't know if we're quite to where you want to fade teams with playoff pressure yet, but they're one of those teams that's now slightly in the catbird seat on making the playoffs. How do those teams handle that as we get into November and December, where they're expected to win these games? They're the favorite on the road. I think a good spot to play against them.
Yeah, and let's get to the model's favorite upset pick now. And there's actually only one that the model has as a money line underdog that rates favorably. So it's pretty easy to pick this one out of the lineup. We didn't have to do much siphoning and filtering through the different model tools. But what is that pick, Jason?
Yeah, the model it's only underdog pick that's playable. It's got some favorites. It actually, for once, likes some of these big favorites this week. But on the underdog side, Pittsburgh at Chicago. Now there are reasons to think Chicago has gotten fortunate Pittsburgh, of course, is usually a pretty good dog play under Mike Tomlin. We don't know as of right now, recording this, who the starting quarterback will be for Pittsburgh. We know Aaron Rodgers had some sort of fracture in his non-throwing wrist. He wants to play. We'll see what the team decides. So you may, as you think about this, our model's saying Pittsburgh, and what is that number right now? Is it 150-ish, 155?
The money line is at plus 120.
120. Oh, see, I'm way off. Okay. It's under a field goal right now, right? The line's so it's a plus 120. The line is under a field goal. So I guess my thought would be you wait to hear on the news, because this line could bump over a field goal and the money line could go up. So I don't want you to take like bad money line move when you might get a better line. I still think it's playable if this line moves to like plus 150, 140 on news that it's Mason Rudolph, because you're still getting a lot of the same factor. Do you like Aaron Rodgers with a wrist that is broken? Is that significantly better than having Mason Rudolph at quarterback? I don't know the answer to that, but I tend to think I like Pittsburgh as a dog here, because the Chicago team is, are they league average? They're in first place, but they've won a lot of close games. They've had a lot of turnovers. They're relying on a lot of the things that are generally unsustainable. And so I do think it's a good underdog play.
Yeah, and I just took a look at our team rankings. I can link this in the description below too. We do luck rankings every week, and I like to look at them just as like to get a sense of how things are shaking out. I usually have a pretty good idea of who's on top, who's on bottom. Where do you think Chicago ranks? Can you just guess off the top of your head where they are in these luck rankings? Number one would be the luckiest team.
Yeah, I don't think they're number one, because I'm trying to think how this is calculated. It's not just like turnover. It might be like also point differential relative to things like yards. It might be point differential in general versus wins and losses, so close games. I think Denver is number one.
It is.
How many times have they come back and like beat
Were you
bad
looking
teams?
at these?
And they just beat the Chiefs, a good team. People are now talking like Super Bowl contender. Yeah, they won a game at the end again. They've owned the fourth quarter. So I think Denver's number one, but I think Chicago's probably close, because they've been blown out in the only games. Like, they've got blown out by Detroit. I'm not sure they've beat a good team that you might consider a good team. Do you consider Minnesota a good team?
Not right now.
So, I mean, they almost blew it against Minnesota. So I think it's probably Chicago 2 or 3.
They are number 3. I will give you a guess on if you have the number 2 team.
Who would be number 2?
I've been picking on them a lot this year in the upset pick.
Philadelphia?
Yep.
Okay.
I like you acting like you didn't know, so it made it look more natural that you weren't just looking at this screen right before we came on.
You've been picking against unsuccessfully in the last week. Okay, there we go.
Well, the Vikings I've been picking against unsuccessfully all season.
True.
So, but yeah, that's a story for a different day. So those are the 3 upset picks that we are rolling with this week. Jason likes
as we
Houston.
Leave, Spencer, can I just tell you really why I picked Houston over Buffalo?
Okay. I'd love to hear it.
The secret sauce. You get songs stuck in your head
all the time.
I cannot explain this, and most people won't have any idea what this song is. And I don't know the last time I heard this song. The song "Buffalo Stance" by Nina Cherry has been stuck in my head since last night. My wife's like, "What is that song you're singing?"
I don't know it.
Oh,
I
thought you were fresh with me, okay? But you can get fresh with these upset picks.
I thought you were going to say Buffalo Soldier when you started with that, but that one would at least make that would make more sense in my mind, and it's a little more widely known. But like, hey,
no money, man, I need your loving. It's sweetness that I'm thinking of. There you go. That's a song. Now it's stuck in your head too. And that's really why I had to go against Buffalo. But maybe it was telling me to pick Buffalo. So I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off base.
Well, now this video might get taken down for copyright infringement. That probably just got
the song recognizers, the AI no doubt thought that I perfectly recreated that song.
Yep. That was such a spot-on rendition
Yes.
that we are now flagged and have a strike against this.
Yes.
So if this video is still up and you can still have access to it and watch it, we thank you for watching that and listening to Jason's musical abilities. Reminder that the newsletter where you can get those 3 upset picks and our NFL ratings each and every week is pinned in the comment section below. We encourage you to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And good luck in NFL week number 12.